Welcome to Intimate Conversations with Francis O'Brien, healing one heart at a time. That was a weird intro because my eyes were somewhere else. I'm just going to feed off of my previous video, which was you are not what you're going through, it's just an experience. What I'm going to feed off from that is, do not talk about your problems with colleagues at work. I'm sure you've heard this conversation before. Some of you may have, some of you may have not. You know, it's very difficult. With this one, it's very difficult. And I'll tell you why. It's difficult because we spend a lot of time in a day with the people that we actually work with. If it's an 8-hour shift, I mean, by the time you get home, you're probably 2 hours on the road with transport. And then when you get home, you've got like a limited time, 5-6 hours of you being awake, bonding with kids, husband, spouse, family members, whatever the case is, and then it's time for bed, and before you know it, you're back to work. You can form real friendships sometimes at work, but you need to differentiate between, actually you need to put a boundary for yourself and also for them. This is your people, the people that you work with. You need to form that boundary because you're doing it to protect yourself. It's for self-respect, your dignity. You need to preserve that. Some people may think, it's nothing, you know, whatever the case is. Some people have formed genuine friendships with people that they've worked with. But I must say it's not too many. It's really not too many. Some people have met their partners, you know, through work. With the age-old, you shouldn't date in the office, etc., etc., etc. Some companies permit it, some companies don't permit it for obvious reasons. But today's topic, which is, do not share your personal problems with people at the office. I've been there. I mean, I'm feeding off of the previous conversation or the previous topic. When I was in my relationship with my ex, I really didn't have friends. And the stuff that I went through with him, I had no one to share with. First of all, I couldn't even share some of these issues with my mom because I wanted to protect my mom from knowing the stuff that I was going through, and I didn't want her to stress. Partially that, as well as the fact that I was ashamed about a lot of the things that I was enduring and going through and experiencing, let me put it that way. You know, there are a lot of people in the office that are pretentious, very pretentious. There's some people who genuinely care, and then there's some people who enjoy seeing you go through misery. And this could even be friends. This is out of the workplace. But today we're concentrating on the workplace environment. It's important to really keep a degree of professionalism and work ethic. Those can be easily blurred once you start introducing your personal space. And it's difficult. You know, sometimes there's days where you don't even want to bring your kids to the office. But then, you know, maybe your kid is sick that day, or it's a bring your daughter or your son to work day and stuff like that, and you bring your kids. There's some people who are very private with their lives. You only know the kids because you see them, you know, in the car when the spouse comes to pick up the significant other, and you're like, oh, okay, no, you've got kids. Oh, it's a boy and a girl. Some of them even know the names, some of them don't know the names, because it's like, you know, I'm just going to keep my life there in the car park, my office car park or parking lot, and that's it. They're not coming into this building. I developed a sense of respect for those people because after I went through what I went through, I realized that no, talking to people at the office is a really bad thing. There may be some people who are also very mature and are able to give you solid advice when you talk to them, and they can tell you that and hold your personal conversation with a very high degree of confidence. There are people who are like that, they're mature. But before you find that kind of person, chances of you having run your mouth to the wrong ones before you find the right one are very high. The problem with talking about your problems at work is because now when you walk around for a cup of tea, you don't know how people are looking at you. You don't know how people are talking about you. It's not a nice, please don't do it. It's not a nice experience. it's really not a nice experience. I'm just looking down at my timer. It's not a nice experience. Sometimes, you know, someone can advise you and say, then it's better to talk to a therapist. Yeah, a therapist costs money. Sometimes you have the money, you may not even have that money to talk to a therapist. This is why it's important, and if you don't have friends, this is why it's important, I think, then to belong to a church. I'm a Christian, so I'll always revert to God. This is where you need to belong to a church. Churches have got counselors. I'll give you a negative experience I had with church, and this is by no means meant to dissuade you from going to church, not at all. It's just that, you know, some organizations, I should put it that way, really don't exactly, they're not people, they're not people focused. They're more about, you know, increasing their membership. I remember when I didn't have a place to stay and I had to move around, and I thought perhaps if I go and ask the church to help me maybe to reside on the church premises for a couple of weeks until I get my feet, I would. When I got there, they wouldn't even see me. I had to phone the church from the church's parking lot or car park. And I told the lady who answered the phone my experience, and she literally put me on hold, and she went to talk to the senior of the church, and then came back to me and said, sorry, we can't help you. They didn't even want me to come into the building, even though I was in the parking lot. They didn't want me to come into the building for me to at least talk, and I was basically turned away. That was just a negative experience. And when that happened, I was like, okay, church, bye. We're done. Like, there's no relationship between you and I, because really, I digress. But I go back to the fact that it's important to belong to a church body, because they're counselors, they are leaders in the church that could be able to hear you and give you some advice. And those leaders are people that have been trusted to be in those posts. Those are the best people that you can talk to, and it's free. Then you don't have to be paying money that you don't have to see a therapist, to discuss these to discuss your personal problems. So, going back to me, now I'm going through this issue, and I've divulged some of the stuff that I've gone through, because like I said earlier in the previous video, that I'm about to implode. I don't have anyone to talk to, and I need someone to talk to. I open my mouth to the wrong people. You know, sometimes you get to the story swapping phase. You tell me yours, I'll tell you mine. I'm like, oh, you going through that, or you went through that? Oh, wow, so how did you handle it? You know, stuff like that, and you start swapping stories. Then you think, wow, yeah, I'm not the only one. Whew, I feel so better. I released that I'm glad. I feel a lot better. Wow, that just feels like yeah. Just because they share your story, their story with you, doesn't mean they aren't going to mock you for yours. You know, there are vipers. There are people who are just vipers with your information. Vipers. The other reason why I say not to share your information with colleagues is sometimes you never know who you're telling what. And maybe you were due for a promotion. How do you like this story, this scenario? Maybe you were due for a promotion, right? Let me make sure I've got time. Maybe you're due for a promotion. Then you go and you tell this person this information. Before you know it, that person goes and shares your story with management. And then management, and your promotion was a sure thing. It was bad. You knew it. Maybe this colleague knew it or didn't know it or whatever. You go and you tell this person this information. They're going to tell management. I'll give you a scenario. You've just fallen pregnant, and management has looked at, promoting you. Obviously, with pregnant comes maternity leave. Now you're going, you're blabbing like, oh my God, I'm pregnant. It wasn't planned. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I think I'm going to keep it. Excuse me, etc., etc. This person is like, ha, good. This is my chance for my promotion. I'm going to make sure that I bring her down. You're going to tell this person goes and tells management. Before you know it, you've been taken off the list of promotion, and you don't know why. You don't understand, because as far as you're concerned, you didn't open your mouth to tell management anything. So where is this sudden change of heart coming from? Yeah, there are people who are saboteurs in the office. Professional saboteurs. I've got no better way to explain, like, professional saboteurs. I don't know, I'm not really feeling this light, guys. I'm using my phone torch to kind of give me light, because the natural light is not the best. It's not the best. It's drizzling, it was raining now, and yeah, it's overcast outside, and the weather, and there's load shedding in our area, so there is no power. Please work with me in my videos. This is what I gotta work with, so work with me. Professional saboteurs. And then maybe after some time you get to find out, maybe from somebody who decides to be courteous in management, to tell you why you didn't pass for a promotion. And then you sit down and you think, so X, Y, and Z told you this issue. Why would they tell you that? I told this person in confidence. Not everybody wants your best in the office, I can tell you that. Be very vigilant. Not everybody wants your best in the office. There's some people that you will say stuff to, and you're bearing your destiny. You're bearing your blessings. You'll find that you're a very blessed person. You're anointed. There's favor upon your life as a God-fearing child of God. And then you just happen to just feed your life to the agents of darkness, who are very happy to reach onto that information to bury you with it. Sometimes, a lot of the times, just be quiet. Be very quiet. You may be a person who has got a spouse who is philandering. You have had it. And you go out and you tell your colleague that you've got a philandering spouse and you don't know what to do. Honestly, some of these problems are so heavy, and you just need somebody to talk to, because it's interfering with your work, and you really cannot tell seniors or your management. I mean, it's like, ugh. Some offices are actually lucky because they've got, or some companies are actually blessed. If you own a company, please consider having therapists or counselors in your office, in your, in your work, in your company rather. Because you're working with human beings, and every person has got a problem. Every person is going to have a challenge at one point in their life, and sometimes, and these challenges honestly do affect our work. They affect our performance. So if you're an employer and you're listening to this video, I implore you, please, if you're an employer, I implore you, please have a department that can speak to employees about challenges that they're going through, about problems that they encounter. It's very important, especially if you care about the performance of your company and the growth of your company. Care for the people that work. A company is basically, it's not a building, it's a bunch of people coming together for a common goal or purpose. Don't tell your business to people at the office. Please don't. When you sit around at lunch, there's just, snickering, jeering happening behind you. Murmuring. Can you imagine sitting in the bathroom and then hearing these women, I'll use women as an example, having this conversation by the wash basins about your life, and they don't even know that you're in one of the cubicles. And they are going on about how thick you are, how stupid you are, or whatever the case is. And that, or maybe they saw your husband having this, at a hotel, whatever. And oh my God, like, how clueless could you get? And she thinks she's got the best husband, etc. Yeah, don't. Honestly, contrary to my previous video, I know it's going to sound so contradictory. Sometimes it's better to just die inside. Because it's better than having people undress you. Think of it that way. What is more mortifying? Dying on the inside and people not really knowing what's going on with you, or walking around and people know absolutely everything that's happening with your space. Like, absolutely everything. And like I said, it's this video is not meant to judge you. If you've done it, please don't do it anymore. If you haven't done it, please don't do it at all. Like I said earlier, some people have developed friendships at the office, some people haven't. Try to always maintain a degree of professionalism at the office space. Yes, you can joke and have fun. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, who said a work environment must be dense and tense? No. But in the same breath, you don't want to be gathered in a printer room and people are having a conversation about your life, or in the kitchen, or in the boardroom. You just never know where any kind of problem can come from. I mean, it's different if you've got a problematic spouse and he comes to your office and creates a whole scene. That is different. It's different. You know, I can't say it's controllable because some spouses really are just basket cases, and that goes both ways, male and female. Some people are really just truly shameless and they will just pitch up and not care. If anything, their intention actually is to ruin your integrity at the office. That's a different scenario altogether. Thank you, Lord, for the rain. Oh, thank you, Heavenly Father, for the rain. So please be careful about sharing your private life. I think I've emphasized it more than I can. I hope I'm not forgetting anything. I mean, you know, I've really experienced a lot. And like I said, you know, when I was talking about my personal stuff, it's because I felt I was going to explode and I really needed somebody to talk to. And unfortunately, I spoke to the wrong people. I really did. I really honestly truly spoke to the wrong people, and I shouldn't have. And I can't take that back, but it is what it is. I've grown and I've learned from it. And then you get those people who, when you have now moved on to a better phase in your life, they will always remember that dark period. And I'm now taking off of the previous, you know, topic. They will not, yeah, now we remember her. I see her now. If you knew her when I knew her. Yeah, that was then. You knew me then. Excuse me, I was going through a dark phase. Like, did you want me to permanently be in some kind of dark abyss? Some people, yes, they want you to be like that. They don't want to see you prosper. They don't want to see you move to a higher level. They don't want to see you improve. They just want to see you constantly crying, depressed, miserable, sullen. Oh my word, some people are really negative. Some people are really negative. And then you'll get them coming to you and like, oh, you know, don't think too much. And then you think, oh, this person really cares about me. And it's just like in mockery, basically. When they come to comfort you, it's like mockery, comfort. And when you are in a dark space, you never know when it's genuine and when it's not genuine. This is why I'm talking about this, because I want you to shield yourself from unnecessary problems. Just shield yourself from unnecessary stress. Shield yourself from unnecessary stress. Not everybody is out there tooting your horn. Yay, go Francis! Not everybody's got pom-poms for you, darling. And this also goes for men. You know, sometimes some guys also are going through problems with their spouse. Maybe he wants to have children with his wife and the wife is like, I'm not there. And it's distressing this guy. Now he gets to work and, you know, he's depressed about it. And then before you know it, he opens his mouth and he talks to his colleague that, you know, he wants to have children. And then now he can't have children because his wife's doing 1, 2, 3. Do you know you can also have colleagues that covet your spouse, covet your girlfriend or boyfriend? This is why even when you have a dating life, you really keep your life, your private life away from the office. Like just keep it away. Keep it away. If you really are with somebody, if God has just sent somebody your way, let that person come and do what they need to do to help you at that time. But you really need a strong spirit of discernment. You really have to have the gift of discernment to know that this is somebody that God sent your way. There's no better way to put it. Anyway, this wraps up the conversation for today. Thank you so much for tuning in to Intimate Conversations with Francis O'Brien, healing one heart at a time. If you've got a comment, please make sure that you leave a comment, a respectful one, please. As always, we're adults. My content is specifically for adults. If you don't agree, that's all right. We're human. We don't have to have the same ideologies. So if you've got a different opinion, please, you know, voice your opinion in the comment section below and we can have a good conversation about it. But until I see you again, be blessed, stay blessed, always. Bye.